Hello students, in the previous lecture we were discussing the liquid dosage form unit. So today we will start from the complexation, page 158. So, students, there are many organic compounds um, in the solution which tend to associate or come close to each other to some extent. Uh, so if they want to come close or there is any association, so it is very clear that there is a some type of mechanism which is present, uh, so by which they are coming close to each other. So the mechanism might be donor acceptor mechanism, or which is all, or you can also say Lewis acid base reaction, which is between the two or more than two chemical constituents. So it is too weak to be detected by some standard techniques, but it can be confirmed by solubility analysis technique. So this is because every substance which has a specific reproducible equilibrium solubility in a particular solvent at a given temperature. So any change in this equilibrium denotes the formation of new species in the solution. Okay, so in case of weak acid and bases, the total solubility, which is just equal to the inherent solubility of undissociated compounds and plus the concentration of the dissociated species. So similarly, when complexes are formed, the total solubility is equal to the inherent solubility of the uncomplexed drug plus the concentration of the drug complex in the solution. So I'm explaining you this by giving an example. Suppose D is the drug and C is the complexing agent. Both come close to each other and combine to form a new complex. D is the drug having concentration X, and C is the complexing agent having concentration Y. They will form the complex that is DXCY. Okay, so the total solubility can be given by the uh, can be given in the by the reaction. So this increase in solubility of drug in solution can be confirmed by analytical techniques, and I just told you before, it can be confirmed only by the analytical techniques. So how can we confirmed by analytical techniques? It is only after finding out the total drug concentration before and after adding complexing agents. That is why we have mentioned the concentration of drug and complexing agent in the above reaction. Okay, so analytical technique is a good technique for the enhancement of solubility of poorly soluble drugs, uh, but it again a formulator must be careful about the following aspects. So how does resultant complex affect the safety and stability of the formulation? And there must be compatibility of complexing agent in this regard. So there should not be any untoward therapeutic effect of the complexing agent. So some example of these techniques are as below. Solubility of iodine in water increased by the formation of polyiodides. So after adding potassium iodide, and solubility of caffeine is 1:15 water, which is increased to 1:1.2 if sodium benzoate is added to it. So next we have is heterotrophy. So when the solubility of drug is enhanced owing to the presence of large amount of additives, the technique is referred as heterotrophy. So mechanism of this technique is not known, but it has been speculated that this change in the solubility of drug in solution might be due to the either solubilization, complexation, or change in the solvent character. So very good example of this technique is the enhancement of caffeine solubility in water due to presence of large concentration of sodium benzoate. Okay, so there are some other example of this, like solubilization of benzoic acid with sodium benzoate and of theophylline with sodium acetate and sodium glycinate. So the technique is hardly useful in practical since it requires large amount in the range of 20% to 50% of additives to show moderate increase in the solubility. Okay, so next we have is chemical modification. So this is the ultimate technique. The chemical modification is the ultimate technique which is used to enhance the solubility of many poorly soluble drugs by modifying them into their water soluble derivatives. So it has been found very much useful in enhancing the solubility of beta-methazone alcohol in water, which is 5.8 mg per 100 ml at 25 degrees centigrade, but the solubility of its 21 disodium phosphate ester is greater than 10 gram per 100 ml at 25 degrees centigrade, nearly about 1500 times increase in solubility. So other example is the enhancement of solubility of alkalis in water if converted to their salts. So no doubt it is quite a useful technique, but the new compound must be undergone all the tests as in the case of parent compound like biological activity, acute and chronic toxicity, pharmaceutical evaluation and clinical testing. Preservation. So preservation of liquid ossiform is necessary because there are chances of microbial growth due to number of sources of contamination like raw material, processing containers and equipments, the manufacturing environment, operators, packaging, materials and the user. So hence all the pharmaceutical preparations require addition of preservative to check the microbial growth, except those which are to be taken freshly prepared or having been administered in large volume, which is in the case of IV infusions. Okay, so if we are talking about the preservative, so it must have some characteristics, or you can say ideal. You can say what are the characteristics of the ideal preservatives. First main characteristic of preservative is it should be effective against broad spectrum of microorganisms. It is the most important characteristics of the preservative. Broad spectrum means which is effective against more than two or which is effective against two or more than two strains or two types of species of microorganisms. Okay, and another most important characteristic is it should be physically, chemically, or microbiologically stable for the shelf life of the product. In other words, we can say that it should not interfere with the physical, chemical, or microbiological structure of the product, or it should not change the shelf life of the product. Okay, if it is going to increase the shelf life of the product, then it may be considered, but it should not reduce the shelf life of the product, so it cannot be compromised. And another important point is if it is effective against the broad spectrum antibiotics. Second is if it is effective it is compatible with the physical, chemical, and microbiological structure, then we are going to consider the preservative. But we should have also checked it should not be toxic. Okay, it should not be toxic. If it is toxic, then what is the meaning of the broad spectrum or physical or chemical compatibility with the product? So another most important characteristic is it should be non-toxic, it should be non-sensitizing. Okay, so it is acceptable with respect to taste and odor at the concentrations used. Okay, so the choice of preservative is based on the use of the product. Okay, so there are four classes of preservatives: acidic compounds, neutral compounds, mercurial compounds, and quaternary ammonium compounds. So their concentration is given below. So if we are talking about the acidic class of preservatives, the preservatives used are boric acid, sorbic acid and its salts, benzoic acid, alkyl esters, O-phenylphenol, chlorocresol, and phenol. Okay, and their strength are the phenol concentration of the phenol is just 0.5%, and chlorocresol should be used in concentration of 0.05 to 0.1%, and concentration of O-phenylphenol is 0.0005 to 0.01%. Alkyl esters should also be used in 0.001 to 0.02%. Benzoic acid should be used in the range of 0.1 to 0.3%, and boric acid should be used in between the 0.5 to 1.0%, and sorbic acid should be used in between the 0.5 to 0.2%. The next is neutral. Then between the neutral, chlorbutanol should be used in the presence of 0.5%. Then benzyl alcohol should be used in the concentration of 1%. Then beta phenyl ethyl alcohol should be used between the 0.2 to 1%. Then mercurials are thimerosal, phenyl mercuric acetate or nitrates, and nitromersol. These are the mercurial preservatives, and their concentration should be between the 0.001 to 0.005 to the 0.1%. Okay, so next class is quaternary ammonium compounds, and in this class benzalkonium chloride and cetylpyridinium chloride, these are the preservatives which falls in the category of quaternary ammonium salts. Okay, so preservatives and also uh, the concentration of the quaternary ammonium compound should be from the 0.04 to 0.02% maximum. Okay, so the preservatives which have been found suitable for oral preparations are para-hydroxy benzoic acid, esters, and the salts of benzoic and sorbic acid. So combination of methyl and propyl para-hydroxy benzoic acids are widely used in the ratio 10 to 1 respectively. The check the microbial growth in oil water systems, and preservatives of other than acidic class are they're widely used in ophthalmics, nasal and parental products, and one has to go into a detailed study of incompatibilities of preservatives with drugs and other additives. Okay, and also one most important point that is important to be mentioned here is the quaternary ammonium compounds. They are inactivated by the variety of the anionic compounds. So we should be take care of that. the compound in which the quaternary ammonium compounds are being used should not contain any anionic compounds, because the anionic compounds present in the compound may inactivate the preservative. So so there is no meaning of using the quaternary ammonium compounds in that compound. Okay, so so it should be noted that, and you should be aware of this thing. The next we have is viscosity. So the another important point in case of liquid gaseous form is they should not be too much viscous, or they should have controlled viscosity. So this is for the purpose like to improve the porability, acceptability, and up to extent, which is also called palatability. Okay, so many viscosity controlling agents have been used for this purpose. First one is polyvinyl pyrrolidine, cellulosic derivatives, methyl cellulose, sodium carboxymethyl cellulose, etc. Okay, so these agents must be tested for their incompatibilities with the drug and other additives in the formulation. So next we have is taste and flavor. So these problems comes only with the oral liquids. Okay, so the problem with taste and flavor, it comes only with the oral liquids. So it is not easy to develop the good taste and flavor with the drugs. Okay, so because this is because you can produce good flavor and taste in the absence of drug, but when drug is present, you have to mask the taste of the drug to produce the desired effect or desired flavor or taste. So generally we develop the sweet taste, and the taste is developed by using the sucrose saccharin. So saccharin is commonly used because it is 250 to 500 times more sweet than the sucrose. So but also there is one problem by using the sucrose is that it can produce bitter taste if it is not used in the proper concentration. So so you have to take care of this thing also. Cyclamates were very much popular in the 1950s and 60s as sweeteners because they are very much soluble in many solvents, and they have a very good stability over a wide range of pH. So also they have a most important advantage using saccharin over the saccharin, because they do not produce any bitter taste like the saccharin if it is not used in the proper concentration. But they were mostly used in the 1950 1960s, but their use have been stopped since the 1969. This is because they have many several toxic effects. So that is why sucrose is very much popular sweetening agent among the manufacturers, because it is water soluble. So and 85% weight by volume, sucrose solution is self preservative. Okay, self preservative means it is there is no need of another preservative which is to be added in the solution. So it is self preservative means it can also function as a preservative. So 85% solution of weight by volume work as a sweetener as well as preservative. Okay, so to develop a good flavor is based on two major phenomena. Okay, first phenomenon is selection of flavor, which flavor is to be used or which flavor we want. And second phenomenon is evaluation of the flavor. Usually, single flavor does not work to mask the bitter and obnoxious taste of drug and additives. So there is a combination of flavoring agents have been added to mask effectively the original unpleasant taste of drugs and additives. So some flavors have been recommended on the basis of taste, sensation, etc. Salt, bitter, sweet, and salt. So in the next lecture, we will discuss about the appearance, etc. So thank you so much.